This segment of JTV News is brought to you by Clarence Thomas Limited, Infinite Solutions, and Caribbean Sellers.
Large and powerful Hurricane Irene roared its way Wednesday across the entire Bahamas archipelago, knocking down trees and tearing up roofs and posing the most severe threat to some of the smaller and less populated islands. Battering the Bahamas with 115-mile-per-hour winds and heavy rain, Hurricane Irene gradually moved across the islands in the Bahamas, causing many to seek shelters. We have this report from the island of Abaco.
Just behind me, the seas are rough. You can hear the ferocious winds, and the trees are moving briskly from left to right. Weather officials predict that it's going to get much worse than this later on tonight as weather conditions deteriorate.
We were thinking that the storm was going to go more to the east of us, and we were going to get some conditions. But I've always maintained that, we were preparing as if we were going to get the full brunt. And I think, the community is prepared. Persons have done what they need to do in terms of securing their properties. And I think we're just all hunkering down now, and I'm hoping for the best.
Many persons were forced to move out of their homes and into shelters similar to the Central Abaco Primary. But that was not an easy task, as downed power lines and uprooted trees covered many streets.
We have approximately 300 persons in the shelters already. All shelters are opened. A family of 6 in the Murphytown shelter. And we have over 100 persons here. And then in St. Francis, there are some persons there as well. I'm happy that we've been able to get the seniors out last night, and those special needs individuals. And I suspect that, persons are going to perhaps be wanting assistance a little later on throughout the day as things progress.
The good news is, though, most persons seeking refuge heeded previous warnings and headed to the shelters early. But despite the warning, some persons could still be seen walking the streets. This Defense Force officer says they are willing and prepared to take on any emergencies.
The drill is, once you're in, you try to stay in. But if someone's life is at stake out there, then you will have to go and try to rescue them.
And for those living in the shelter, they are saddened that they had to leave their homes, but they are well aware of the dangers that they may face.
I live in the mud, so I see everything hard. I park everything because I get some farming.
In this condition, only God could say something for us.
I watch this on the TV and ZNS. I say, everybody say, leave the mud. Yesterday I leave it. If somebody wet me, I don't wet because I don't know. I see storm coming bad.
Charlemagne Fernando of Social Services discusses the next step once Hurricane Irene has passed.
I think they'll stay as long as needed. The ideal is for us to find alternative buildings after the storm to relocate them as quickly as possible so the school could get back to normal.
U.S. President Barack Obama issued an emergency disaster declaration for Puerto Rico on Tuesday, August 24th, and federal aid has now been made available to supplement Commonwealth and local response efforts in the area struck by Hurricane Irene. According to local reports, 17% of households in Puerto Rico were left without power and about 81,000 households without water. Agricultural losses have been estimated at over $16 million, but with continuing heavy rain, more damage is expected. 31 roads were reported to be currently closed after Hurricane Irene passed Puerto Rico. Several dozen people were made homeless and hundreds more families sought shelter on Tuesday night. A total of 17.43 inches of rainfall was recorded in 48 hours, a 50-year-old record. And with rains continuing, many areas will experience a record accumulation of 20 inches. St. Lucia public health officials, responding to what they see as disturbing levels of dengue fever on the island this year, launched a public education campaign which the Ministry of Health says has seen success in various communities.
The Bureau of Health in the Ministry of Health has reported success in the fight against dengue. Director Cyprian Yard says his department is making significant strides amidst a sudden outbreak which occurred after last year's hurricane. Yard ties the decrease in the number of cases to a number of strategies employed by the Bureau.
The strategies that we have employed thus far, which is the community sensitization at all levels, workplace interventions, community cleanup exercises, continued larviciding and household inspections, and also fogging. The combination of those four-pronged strategies have been paying dividends, and we are seeing the impact thus far in that many communities are now coming forward, arranging for their own cleanup activities in community. So we believe that our message is reaching the masses.
Yard says although more people are visiting the designated health institutions, the institutions are noticing a decrease in the number of recorded cases. He says the idea to extend the clinics to the Castries and Grusley Health Center has proven extremely helpful.
These clinics have been extended on Saturdays from 8 to 4, and that is to reduce the workload that would have obviously gone to VH and other hospitals over the weekend. This is working out pretty well, and as I say, with the increased effort that we are making in terms of community sensitization, community mobilization, creating the heightened awareness and so on, people are responding positively.
The director of the Bureau of Health says health officials have recently shifted the cleanup campaign drive to the south of the island. The community of Soufriere and Dennery are the targeted locations. The Bureau of Health is expected to also make an appearance in Bogis and Balata this weekend.
The Caribbean Union of Teachers has called on OECS governments to ensure that their populations fully understand the Free Movement of People initiative within the grouping. The Free Movement initiative went into effect from the start of August and includes only the 6 independent states within the OECS.
From August 1, 2011, citizens from the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States were free to move across the region. However, some persons across the region are unaware that such a policy exists, and if they know, some are oblivious to the features and prerequisites to freely travel across the OECS diaspora. The free movement of people was discussed at the recently held Caribbean Union of Teachers Conference, which was held in Barbados. The initiative has been welcomed by the organization that cited a harmonization of examinations and tests as a potential feature. However, a representative of the CUT believes that governments should do more in educating the populace on the issue.
We are still a little worried that the proper information is not available. We believe that our citizens should be a little more informed as to what they need to do when they are moving. I'm not sure that the citizens are so well informed as to how easy it is for them to move. It is a step in the right direction, but governments need to know that the citizens will not only just get the information, but they have to take the lead.
Concerns about the OECS free movement of people have also been raised by the National Workers Union. Lawrence Poyot, who represents the organization, has qualms with what he says is a lack of legislative framework to protect the rights of workers across the OECS. Poyot says that there are not enough social safety nets and laws protecting citizens who immigrate to other territories within the sub-region.
If you examine the attitude of the OECS, when it comes to economic issues, they're quick to more or less harmonize. But when it comes to social questions, you have seen that hit. So another issue of concern too is what arrangements are in place in terms of people moving from one island to the next, all right, to secure their social security benefits. For example, I worked in St. Vincent. I decided to move to St. Lucia. What arrangements are in place to safeguard my social security benefits?
Concerns have also been expressed that the free movement of people can cause an influx of workers in some OECS territories. The free movement of OECS citizens is one of the fundamental aspects of the revised Treaty of Bastille, establishing the OECS Economic Union, which entered into force on January 21, 2011.
The Trinidad and Tobago government announced an 8-hour curfew as part of a limited state of emergency that is hoped will quell the rising crime situation in the country. The measure, which gives military personnel powers to search and seize and powers of arrest, took effect at midnight Sunday, August 21st, and was later upgraded to a full-scale state of emergency on Tuesday, August 24th.
Less than 24 hours into a state of emergency meant to deal decisively with the crime situation, Acting Commissioner of Police Stephen Williams says gains have already been made. He says 6 guns were seized and 800 rounds of ammunition were also found in areas ranging from Diego Martin to San Fernando. He adds the country was completely crime-free.
We would have arrested in one instant 4 persons in relation to stolen vehicle. Other than that, there were no additional arrests. We had no incidents of violence involving firearms. We had no homicides.
The Acting Commissioner says, though, the activities by the police and army would intensify in the coming days.
We continue to heighten our operations throughout Trinidad and Tobago with a clear focus of ensuring that firearms are removed from persons who possess them illegally. Homicides are driven down to the point that society can feel a level of comfort. And we will be targeting recovery of drugs and all other criminal activities in Trinidad and Tobago.
And while the 15-day period is not even close to coming to an end, the Attorney General says he is pleased that members of the public have stepped up and are doing their part by giving information to officers to make a dent on crime. He's appealing to citizens to keep the fight up.
Anyone with information concerning criminal activity, anyone with intelligence, criminal intelligence about crime that is taking place in your community, we wish to invite you. You know the numbers for Crime Stoppers. You know the numbers 555 for the police service and the 999.
Under a state of emergency, police officers and soldiers have the authority to search any citizen in any part of the country at any given time.